Hey YouTube, this is Speedtoberfest with NASA Southeast at Rockingham Speedway. This is my first time at this track, but I was able to set a time in qualifying good enough to start 8th in this first race. I make a mistake right off the jump and start the car in 3rd, and then make a second mistake of short shifting into 4th here after I bump Don in front of me. Watch this black car come along the high side of me. I see that, and I see the car on the inside. They're both trying to make us go 3 wide, and I don't want any of that, so I lift pretty early, but I don't give enough constant brake pressure to not hit Matt in that black and red car, so I go kind of straight off the track. And in kind of my haste to get back on, I cut the edge of the corner a little bit and go a little close to that blue and white NB. So now I'm in, not last, but I am in the back of this pack of cars. So this is a couple laps later. I've passed those 944s and got past that blue and white NB. There were a couple of guys that had offs in the first lap as well. First couple of laps that are much faster than I am, that are kind of closing the gap here. And there's some out-of-class traffic as well. So I see this E30 coming, and I know, like, I don't want to mess up his race. He is winning. He's got a substantial lead, so I could let him by at like 9 when we get back on the oval, but I just decided to let him have the inside of turn 5 here, even though this is going to allow Jan to close the gap a little bit. Both Jan and Keith are at least a second faster than me a lap, so I'm not trying to hold them off forever here. Like, I'm not going to doggedly fight for what is effectively 11th in this race. I'm just trying to keep them honest and keep them behind me as long as I can, and then hopefully stick on the back of them and maybe learn a thing or two. Because while they're faster than me, it's not necessarily that they have faster cars. Yes, they're both in VVTs, and I'm in a 99, so they probably have a little bit of a torque advantage. It's just more that they're better drivers than I am. So if I can learn something through this, that would be the ideal here. So Jan passes me on the outside. I see Keith setting up on the inside, and rather than shut the door on him, I just kind of let him have it. I could have fought for it a little bit, but at the end of the day, like I said, it's not an if, more of a when sort of thing. So I just try and tuck in behind and see if I can learn anything. Something I noticed, we were all watching video after today, and we watched a bunch of different videos from a bunch of different people, and everybody that was faster than me was faster through that last turn. They were getting on the throttle so much sooner. Now I tried that, and I would slide the car sideways into the banking and not quite work for me. So this was the end of the race. I think I ended up finishing 13 out of 14 Miatas, so not a great day. I was pretty upset with my performance. Ended up having a long conversation with a couple other guys and like how to get a little faster, but that's how it goes sometimes. You don't put in a good performance, and you got to think about it and come back the next day. So this is race 2. The grid was set by fastest lap in race 1, so I'm starting 10th. Not super happy about it, but we'll see what I can do. Learned my lesson from yesterday, starting in 2nd. Almost immediately shift into 3rd here. And I think I'm going to be cute by going on the outside and just am not brave enough to make it stick. So I just tuck in behind. I see the guy on the inside line has fallen away, so I'm just going to go ahead and take the inside, take the most direct line to the corner apex. two cars in front of me lock up and lock up hard. It felt like a full 10 seconds I was in tire smoke there, and I wasn't sure if someone was going to be sideways on the end of it. When I make it through, I pick up 2 more positions. And I am pumped. I'm ready to go. I'm going to see what else we can do during this race. Of course, immediately go off track and lose a little bit of time. Not too much since they're side by side here. And Jan is going to go all the way up the track and come all the way back down. And he's still able to pull away from me a little bit. At this point, I think the closest car behind me is probably double what I am from the cars in front of me. So I'm not really fighting anybody at the moment. I'm just trying to hold on to this front pack of cars. See Jeremy go off in front of us, and I'm wondering, you know, that's going to cause the pack to accordion a little bit. We're still pretty tight, and this is, I mean, only lap 2, but this is the furthest I've been able to stay with the front pack. So currently I am in 7th. Made up 3 positions on the start. I get a better run out of turn 9, and Jan doesn't pull away quite as fast as he did the last time. Trying to sniff a little draft off of him going into NASCAR 1 and 2. Car bounces so much through those banked corners. It was insane. Just all the cracks in the pavement just unsettle the car. A little bit of a slide there. Kind of pretty universally got the same feedback from everybody else, is that tires were good for the first 3-4 laps of the race, and after that they just kind of fell off a cliff. Rockingham hasn't been paved in easily 15 plus years, and you can tell, like, the surface is very abrasive, and there's just pebbles everywhere. You can see a bunch of cracks and dings in my windshield. Those are all from this weekend running at Rockingham. The windshield was basically new. And of course, I missed a shift there going from 3rd to 4th. So a couple laps later, I can still see Jan and Don in front of me. Not running great laps, but I was consistent this race. Almost every lap I was in the 111 somewhere, and like my fastest lap was a 110.4, so we're not talking like huge amount off. And really turn 3 here is where I'm having the most problem. I'm not quite sure what happens here. I think I might lock up and not rev match exactly correctly, but then I also have a slide on the exit of the corner, so that's not doing me any favors. So now I'm just trying a couple different lines. The wide line and try to diamond the corner a little bit. Different ways of trying to rotate the car, different, ways of lifting off the brake and getting back to the throttle. I just had issues with the car pushing, especially through turn 5 and 6 there, the horseshoe. But again, everybody else kind of complained about understeer there. So this is lap 17, still pretty close to Don in front of me. He hasn't walked away, but the rest of the pack is spread out a little bit. So here's the white flag lap. Again, still pretty consistently lapping in the mid 111s. You see Don is in front of that silver car in front of me. He's the next position up. I'm not really fighting anybody behind me. There's quite a bit of gap behind, so I just got to keep it together for one last lap and not slide the car off the track. But I'm pretty happy with this. It's a little bit crazy to have a 25-ish minute race and do 21 laps. A little bit grueling in that aspect of it. But I feel pretty good. I feel like this was the best I could have done feasibly with the tires that I had on the car and how comfortable I was with the track. Race 3, back starting in 10th. So I get another good start. Able to give Hammer in front of me a couple bumps. I see that the inside car has fallen away a little bit, so I'm just going to take the inside line again. Unfortunately, I'm not close enough to Hammer to earn the right to be there, so he moves over in front of me. Don locks up and goes kind of straight on. And had I kept my foot in it, I probably would have been able to pass on the outside here, but not quite brave enough. Keith, also in the black car, has a pretty substantial off that causes us to brake. I have to move out of the way to not run in the back of the Hammer here. Caught me a little by surprise there, but no harm, no foul. I don't lose touch with the cars in front of me. So I see Hammer line up inside, and I know that he's not going to be able to carry enough speed through that corner, and he slides sideways, so I just move around him and pull away. Unfortunately, what that means is the pack in front of me has opened up a gap. So I'm hoping, because there's enough side-by-side going on and people lifting through corners, that I can maybe make up some time into turn 3 and we can clump back up a little bit. Which we do. I'm able to close the gap a little bit, but Matt in the black and red car behind me also closes back up to me because I don't have a great corner exit. And I have an even worse horseshoe. Turn in way too early and just understeers so much. I can't get back on the power here. Three laps later, there's a bigger gap in front of and behind here. Car goes straight off into turn 3, and it's hard to see through the A-pillar, but it comes almost straight back on and cuts the corner. I'm not quite sure where he's going to go, so I have to lift, and I slide the car sideways, and that allows Matt to get in front of me. I probably don't send it as hard into the horseshoe as I could have. I need to get a little bit more comfortable with pulling up the cars in front of me. Especially, cars are going side by side, I should be able to go faster than them and close the gap a little bit. So I probably take that corner a little bit too shallow, and again, I need to get on the power way sooner because you see immediately Keith in the Bandit car in front of me just pulls away just a little bit, and I'm a little bit too far away to be able to gain advantage of the draft. I do make up a little bit of time through NASCAR 1 and 2, and then Keith moves to the inside, and I think I'm gonna maybe try to double back on the inside here. He lines up way inside, so there's no chance of that happening. Watching other people's video through that horseshoe, it's night and day different between what I'm doing. I'm trying to do some maintenance throttle through there, and I think that's actually making the understeer worse. It's just brake, letting the car coast a little bit and settle, and then straight back to full throttle. And I slide the car sideways there. The tires are just completely fallen off. Again, I'm paying too much attention to the cars in front of me, so I have a slidey fun time. But I don't think there's anybody too close behind me. So 21 minutes into the race. I know in my head we're probably going to get 2, maybe 3 laps more. And the car is just progressively sliding more and more through 3 and 4 there. So I'm just trying to hold station as well as I can. I actually see a yellow flag here on the left, which is weird. I've not seen one all weekend long. But if you look at the end of the straight here, the 2 Miatas that were fighting for the lead of the race are parked there on the side of the track. Apparently hit each other and then hit the Armco and traveled all the way down. They're both fine. Both cars are fine for the most part. But that promotes me from 7th up to 5th. And after starting 10th and having a really bad Saturday, I'll take it. It was a pretty good weekend. Rockingham races real well. I'm excited that they said they're going to repave the track soon. So that being said, hopefully next time I'll see you at the track.